on today's special edition of the Meaning of Podcast on actual Halloween.
Ooh! The spooks, the scares, the frights.
That's what it's about. Look, we got
even though it's November for all of you listening now.
It's November, yeah.
But we know Halloween is still, it originates from All Saints Day, and so Hallows Eve, and then we're on All Saints Day now. So it's just,
we're on.
It's basically we're all still. It's all Halloween,
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. Like that's a good way to put it, man.
It's Halloween every day.
We're here celebrating the good holiday. I don't have a costume. Everybody else came in the costume. Just from when you were walking in, Cade, who had the best costume at the Collider offices? You'd say
who was the guy with the weed costume?
That was Jeff. That was our boy Jeff Snyder.
Jeff Snyder. He is a costume genius.
Yeah.
He basically was a weed Jesus.
Or Luigi.
Well,
Mario.
He took the Luigi hat and he put a W.
Yeah.
And then he had like a huge cannabis leaf cape.
That's good, man.
On his back.
That's my guy.
And I was like, oh my God, looks just like the dispensaries out here in LA.
And Perry Nemiroff also had an amazing costume earlier. I'm gonna see if I can try and find it real quick.
Was that a pterodactyl?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I love how much room it takes up.
Yeah.
And like the disproportional arm length and the wing.
So it's all good, man. So yeah, we're here on Halloween. This is pretty informal. This is gonna be a short episode, super short. Originally it was gonna be me and Sabrina. Actually, we're gonna talk about the Halloween franchise, but we're gonna save that maybe for next Halloween. Because Halloween comes around every year and we need more content. So why not?
Totally.
And more importantly, though, you came up with a great idea. Break down this idea for us.
So Robert pitched this whole idea about Marvel versus Francis Ford Coppola. And I'm like,
just reviews, really. That's the only main motivation.
Understandable. And I was like, first of all, I wouldn't really know what to do with that. So let's just go ahead, and since it's Halloween, let's go ahead and just talk about our top 3 favorite seasonal cinematic masterpieces. Basically, we're just going to be breaking down our top 3 favorite Halloween movies. And by Halloween movies, we don't mean the Jamie Lee Curtis franchise.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is sort of the movies that come out because it's the season of Halloween.
The tradition of Halloween.
Yeah.
Not horror movies. And not necessarily horror movies, but they could have a lot of Halloween movies have a lot of that horror influence.
Yeah.
But this is just straight like fun for the family or fun for...
YouTube's going to love it.
Yeah, YouTube's going to love it. We're going to put some fun images on the thumbnail. It's going to be a good time. So, yeah, top 3 Halloween movies, man. So, and we're going to do this, and you came up with the great idea of doing this for a lot of other holidays, right?
Yeah, seasonal cinema.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of Thanksgiving. There's really only one Thanksgiving movie I could think of.
Yeah.
But we could do Thanksgiving potentially. We could do Christmas. We could do Easter.
Carpenter's Day.
I don't know what's a good Carpenter's Day movie.
For example,
does Carpenter just apply to anything
kind of woodworking.
Yeah.
So you could do what was the Bruce Almighty movie with Steve Carell? Evan Almighty.
Evan Almighty.
He builds a whole ark. There you go. That's a huge celebration of woodworking.
I think that's real life. But
today it's about Halloween.
Today's about Halloween, and it's and best part about it is because it's Halloween and because this is the day after Halloween, people can go back to watch this episode year after year.
Totally.
And they'll have a good.
This episode
solid
is going
6 movies.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have a great solid 6 movies, and this episode itself might even start to fall into the Halloween classic genre we'll be exploring today.
Yeah, next year we'll be talking about this episode of today's podcast.
Exactly.
So that's what it's about, yo. And before we get started, I want to make sure we shout out a couple things at the top of the episodes because every time I'm here with Ace, I always forget to say things at the beginning that actually should be said at the beginning because most people only listen to the first 15 minutes of this show. So follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FirstCutTMO. That's important. We're trying to build our social media campaign up.
Sabrina's really killing the social media game.
She's a social media. And she's been killing it all over the place. I mean, we did the premiere of that movie Dr. Sleep recently too, and she helped with the red carpet interviews and did brilliant with that as well. Of course, our man Andres, squad leader Ace, he's got big things coming up. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about those things or not, but he got really big things coming up on Collider, so make sure you check him up on that. I'm going to be on Collider Mailbag this weekend, so that's going to be exciting. Yeah. Me and Mr. John Steven Roca are gonna be teaming up, and me and Andres are going to be on next Monday's episode of Collider Movie Talk together. So it's going to be...
Oh, the First Cut Boys.
Yeah,
Coming
First
for
Cut
blood.
Boys. Yeah, we got to... It's going to be our show Monday, so watch out, Again, with our boy Roca, so it's going to be like a ton of masculine energy. It's going to be a good time. So,
Oh, man.
So all that being said, follow us on Instagram. And also, podcast listeners, there's a lot more of you than that follow us on YouTube. So... Get your asses over to YouTube and follow us on First Cut.
Don't you want to see what we look like? Yeah. I mean, you listen to it. Don't you want to just know?
I know, yeah. Isn't that weird? Like, yeah, man. Yeah. Y'all got to know what we look like. I'm worried that they're going to see what I look like and they're going to be like, oh, man, we're not going to watch this show
also,
anymore.
I mean, okay.
I've been listening to a black dude this entire time. Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
if you're listening to this in your podcasting app of choice, make sure you go over to Instagram and follow the First Cut Insta because it's almost like another way to get notified when your new favorite podcast comes out every week.
Look at you, man. You plug in like a professional, man. You've been watching a lot of... What podcast do you listen to, by the way? Me and Ace talk about this a lot, like what we listen to outside of this show. What
I listen to mostly stand-up comedians podcasts, like Your Mom's House, Tiger Belly. I also sometimes watch H3 podcast highlights.
Yeah.
Other than that, obviously the meaning of...
Hey...
And
air horn for that.
Yeah, there's always new ones coming out that I'm excited to listen to. But mostly stand-up comedians have like my favorite podcast.
We went to the Mom's House. Comedian.
Oh yeah, Christina Pajitsky.
We saw her live and she was amazing.
Yeah.
Man. So all that said and done, let's hop into the topic today.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll go back and forth with top three. You know what I mean? You give me your three, and I go three. You go.
Do you want to go first to third?
Let's go 3-1.
3-1. Okay.
At the end, we get the best.
Okay.
Best of the best.
Yeah, you guys better stay tuned because you don't want to miss that number one slot.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You go
first.
Yeah, you go ahead. It's all you.
Okay. So, I think for me the top slot has to be the original.
So is that number one? Or is that number three?
Oh.
Let's start with number three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't say any of that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'd have to say like number three would have to be. I'm gonna go with Hocus Pocus.
Hocus Pocus. Okay. Now, Hocus Pocus. That's not a Disney Channel movie. But I know for a fact I've seen it on Disney Channel.
It was directed by Kenny Ortega, the man who
High School Musical.
High School Musical director.
Also the Michael Jackson. This is it. Somebody.
It's just like his span of work is like.
Yeah, Hocus Pocus to High School Musical to the greatest. We.
It's a 1993 fantasy horror.
Yeah.
Runtime is an hour 36 minutes.
So I remember watching this movie a lot as a kid, and salute to this movie because honestly, like this kind of gives witches, this kind of gives all the witch like ideas into one kind of pot. The sisters, the hats, the pointy hats, the giant. The kettle where they're like making the soup of like people.
Like for me, this movie is like everything about it is about like why we celebrate Halloween. It's like the larger than life witches. It's the potions and like there's also the aspect of it which is like the protagonist, like the main kid character is just like an everyday trick or treater sort of thing, and so it's like it's definitely like a hero's like journey into discovering like the sinister behind Halloween and like
right.
And like also I think like all three of the main witches, like the sisters, are they triplets? Probably not. I don't know. But like all of the witches are like so funny and like the acting is so over the top. So it's just like it's like even when they're not telling a joke, it's still like you can still laugh and like have a good time, and it's also like scary because they're plotting like an evil like takeover of the town, sort of like a classic.
I feel like I feel like a lot of what we see in this movie is kind of the quintessential idea of like when we think about like fantasy, witches, like all of that stuff, just all kind of thrown in one. So salute to that. We actually our boy Anthony just did a whole video about witches.
So interesting.
Yeah. It came out right in time for Halloween, so check that out. So next for me, okay. So this is my number 3. You good with Hocus Pocus? You have anything more to say on Hocus Pocus? Give me the nostalgia. Give me the nostalgia. How does it connect to you from your childhood?
I think this movie. Okay, so it came out in '93. I was born in '98. So this movie's been around, and I think I really associate Halloween with like the themes of this movie and like the way it depicts like how we should see Halloween in our like our culture's mismatch. What is it? Our culture's basically like stitched together like celebration of this like originally pagan holiday.
Right. Exactly. And it's like I feel like what we as viewers have like kind of put onto this movie. I mean, because this is something that I feel like all people of all ages could like watch to some extent.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's really important for like Halloween movies to like stick around because like you need something for the whole family to watch. Like, it can't just be a straight up like. I mean, obviously like the Halloween franchise is a completely separate thing because those are just straight horror movies. But this kind of movie is something that can communicate for multiple generations, even if you're born after the time it came out.
Like, for example, Twitches. Do you know the Disney Channel movie Twitches?
Yeah.
So, like, that's another really good Halloween movie, and I was watching it with, it's not on my list, though. But I was watching it last night, and, like, as a kid, I remember thinking that movie was, like, the shit, like, it's like,
Twin witches.
It's, like, modern, it's funny, it's, like, but I was watching it now as a 21-year-old, and, like you were saying, like, does it hold up for every age range? I mean, it's like definitely a nostalgia trip, and that's basically where it stops. Because the movie itself, is like definitely like made for kids who like can't see through like the production.
Yeah. Do you think Hocus Pocus is made for like kids and adults? You think?
I think it's definitely made for both.
Yeah. I feel that. I gotta revisit that one. It's been a minute since I watched that one. Again, another one I vividly remember watching on Disney Channel a lot when I was a kid. So salute to that one for sure. I'm gonna go on for my number 3, and this will probably be a lot of people's number 1 actually. And
okay,
but I don't know. I have a tough time just strictly calling it a Halloween movie. And I think all the ones I have on my list are a little in between.
Okay, that's fine.
But this one I love is the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That definitely falls into the category.
That's the Halloween movie, you think?
Yeah.
A lot of people call it a Valentine's Day movie. That's what a lot of the rebranding for that movie has been becoming in recent history. But I love Rocky Horror Picture Show, man. The first time I watched it was Halloween in 2015 when I was a freshman in college. So I was late to the party with that one for sure.
Yeah.
Came out in 1975. This movie is largely celebrated as kind of the first kind of cult classic that kind of came out in terms of like having a dedicated fan base. It's the longest running theatrical release of all time. If I'm not mistaken, too. Yeah, it's still in theaters like to this day.
Really?
Because it's still a popular midnight movie and it's still a popular thing that people go to and wear
like
costumes
it's definitely like this movie definitely pushes cinema to like its absolute potential. I think.
Yeah,
like,
no, straight up.
It's really over the top. I would say it falls into the category of camp.
Oh yeah, and it's good camp. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
there are a lot of campy movies that came out in the 70s and the 60s that are really, really bad, but this one's really, really good. Yeah. It's camp, but it knows it's camp and embraces the tone.
I mean, I think it definitely like has everything that you kind of look for in a Halloween movie, like the mansion, the scientist, like
the crazy scientist,
almost like Dr. Frankenstein vibes,
Yeah, and salute to this movie too because it was kind of ahead of its time when at least we were talking about sexuality for women in this movie. I know it was a big deal that they had that song for Susan Sarandon where she's like, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me.
Sing it.
I want to get dirt. No. I'm out.
If you want more Robert singing, make sure you hit that like button.
Yeah, hit that like button. We'll get the whole soundtrack going. That's it has a lot of applause for being like really progressive. Obviously, like its depiction of LGBTQ stuff too. It actually literally shows relationships, like how both of them are both a little all everywhere, and it's really a great movie that embraces a lot of different communities and a lot of different like styles and ideas, and obviously like it could just be seen as appealing to just that, but I think overall it's like really, really,
it definitely like plays up the sort of the like the costuming and like the eccentricity that Halloween is like known for.
Yeah. No, it's overall it's a great movie. So that's my number 3. That's what I'm going with.
Number 3. Okay.
Yeah, so number 2 for you.
Number 2 would have to be Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Hey,
Yeah.
fuck it, man. Let's just combine it. My number 2 is Beetlejuice.
Hey!
Beetlejuice.
This was not planned.
Yeah, this was not planned out. They used to have a Beetlejuice thing in here. Were you around when they had that? I'm sure you
Maybe.
were. Yeah, they used to have a Beetlejuice thing in here. But yeah, man, let's talk about Beetlejuice, man, because this is definitely one of my favorites, like, too. So
I think this is one of the first movies I remember watching and not knowing if I was scared, if I was amused. Like, this movie definitely, like, doesn't play on one emotion. It definitely, like, it scares you one moment and then, like, you love it the next moment. It's just, like... It's almost like the same feeling you get like when you just wake up and you're trying to remember a dream, but it's just like so out of this world that like none of the details really make sense,
like that,
but
like
you
that.
still enjoyed it,
I like that. Yeah, no, I really do genuinely think that like Beetlejuice is one of the funniest movies, like probably of all time. Like the comedy in this movie. I mean, this is another one I didn't even see until like way later on down the line for me. Like I saw it when I was like a senior in high school or something like that. But man, Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice, even though he's like a supporting character, like every time he comes on screen,
he's the star of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like Winona Ryder, man, like what a legend.
Yeah. Young Winona.
Catherine O'Hara, Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin is the dad. Yeah. See, it's all like you think about it's a really funny concept of like the idea that these two kind of shrewdest characters end up dying in this car accident and then end up having to live their lives in the house of the previous with ghosts. But then to make that a funny concept is twisted.
I think it was like somewhat ahead of its time. I mean, like we see a lot of these concepts like today in like a lot of like the anthologies, like American Horror Story and stuff like that. Like the whole like living with ghosts and like what that means.
Right.
And it's just I mean, it got a 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, but in Cade's Tomatoes, I'd give this like at least like a 95.
Yeah, no, it's up there for sure. And we actually did a good breakdown of it on our we had a meeting of Tim Burton episode for I think it was number 76 or 78.
Ooh, gotta give that a listen.
Yeah. And our man Frank, who's actually like the most talented editor in the world, he works here at Collider. He was with us on that episode, and I think Beetlejuice is his favorite Tim Burton movie, if I'm not mistaken, or if not one of his favorites.
I think also what I love about this movie is it definitely like holds a mirror up to like our social standards like at the time, it's like these dinner parties where everyone's like putting on a mask and like basically just like I guess acting ingenuine would be the word. And it's like that scene with the dinner party where like everyone's forced like by like the magical Halloween power of like Beetlejuice to like get up and start dancing and singing. I remember that shit like I was living for that moment.
Yeah, because it kind of gives a kind of happy perspective on like the gothic kind of girl or the gothic character, because we see a lot of goths like through movies, and it's really Halloween movies too. But it's usually like the sad and depressing thing. But I think, and we talked about it with the Tim Burton episode, his idea is to make goths like human people, like make people who just wear black clothing, but they're still like normal human beings. And I think this movie really does a good job of like humanizing Winona Ryder's character and like really having fun with it.
Totally.
My funniest moment is the moment when I think they're in like the DMV for when they're like the DMV for like the afterlife and they're waiting on the license.
Oh my God.
To me it's just really, really funny. So anyway, That was your number 2. That was my number 2. Beetlejuice is a classic. Definitely go out.
If you haven't seen Beetlejuice, definitely take you the time during this month of November to check it out.
Yeah. No Shave November.
It's a good lead up to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, most definitely. And all right, so let's we are down to the number 1. But let's get some honorable mentions. Like we gotta talk about some honorable mentions before we get to the number 1 spot.
Well, I think I mentioned Twitches, like probably be at number 5 for me.
Twitch is number 5. Okay.
What about you? What are some honorable mentions?
And my silly self had a whole list of Halloween movies pulled up, and I completely lost it. Oh,
me too.
Yeah. I would like to give a big salute to Caroline. That movie came out in 2009. I remember seeing it as a kid in theaters. Actually,
that shit looked too scary. I did not go see it.
It's a really genuinely scary for a kid's movie. Mm-hmm. It's actually really out there. Like,
when I saw like those eyeballs being sewn on like the buttons, I was like, "There's no way I'm seeing this."
It's twisted, but it's amazing, bro. It's absolutely amazing. And I remember this came out in 3D before Avatar came out. So before Avatar came out in 3D. This was in 3D. I remember seeing this in 3D. And this movie was so weird in 3D. I mean, they had specific animated.
Did you leave traumatized?
I left mesmerized. Even as a kid, I was like, if this movie came out in 2009, so I had to be like 12. Mm-hmm. I was like, yo, this is great. Like, this is amazing.
Some more honorable mentions from my end. Haunted Mansion starring, what's his name?
Eddie Murphy?
Yes, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Monster House. Mm-hmm. Jeepers Creepers. Do you know that one?
Jeepers Creepers, yeah, of course. Yeah,
these are all really great Halloween movies.
Yeah, those are great. I was going to say I was going to put this as my number 1, but I ultimately just decided that it's maybe not a Halloween movie. Well, Scream. Scream was gonna get it.
That's huge, yeah.
But I consider that just more of a straight.
I think that movie like defined the holiday of Halloween for like a good 10 years.
Honestly, because when I thought about Scream, I thought, well, damn. That's the movie that I think inspired the most costumes out of
yeah. Because it's such an easy costume. It's automatically scary. It's just literally a mask.
And it's funny. And that was my main thing thinking about it too. Like when I was balancing this conversation, it is really funny.
Yeah.
I almost consider it a comedy. Yeah. But to me, I don't know. I think we're gonna save Scream talk for another time.
Okay.
But
So my number 1?
Your number. I was also going to shout out Frank and Weenie one more shout out myself.
Here. What is that?
Frank and Weenie.
I know it's a Tim Burton animated.
Yeah. But
I never saw it.
Yeah, so. It's maybe not the best, but.
Oh wait, I did see it. Isn't it the dog dies and he brings him back to life?
Yeah.
It's like a black and white.
I did like stop motion type shit.
I don't know. Like that just made me depressed. Like.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of that.
Yeah.
But I dug it. But all right,
my number 1. So I already basically said it at the top of the show, but it's Halloween Town.
Yeah.
It's the 1998, same year I was born, fantasy adventure film that came out on Disney Channel. Mm-hmm. And I think like for the first probably 13 or 14 years of my life, like this was the Halloween movie. Mm-hmm. Everything about it like drew me in, the idea of like a different land, like where it's all Halloween.
Right.
And then of course like the family, like the sibling dynamic and like with the main characters. Mm-hmm. It's also like really fun to track and like see how they all need each other to like solve this big problem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it got an 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is honestly higher than I would expect because it's definitely not like, it's definitely not like a
critically acclaimed like type.
Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, this is a Disney Channel original. Like, happened to be a hit, sort of like.
Right.
I'm sure while they were making it, they did not know like how to expect the reception. But,
right.
Like, for example, like the cast is great. Mm-hmm. Like Debbie Reynolds is in it, which is definitely like their biggest get.
Yeah.
And like she's
R.I.P.
Yeah, she's like I think she's like the main like point that holds the whole movie together. Like she's the inciting incident with the children and all that. Right. And like I think it still holds up because of the nostalgia and also because of like the fantastical like world they built. It's not just like a real world sort of Halloween movie. It's like it's about like a different dimension sort of. And then like also the sequels were great, like Return to Halloween Town, Halloween Town High, where they literally recasted like a Terrence Howard situation in Iron Man. Like they recasted the main character.
Really? And it just kept it going? Like, they didn't say a word about it?
And I think in a lot of ways, like these movies like Twitches and Halloween Town on Disney Channel, like the big success of them were like kind of a precursor and like a signal to Disney to like make shows like Wizards of Waverly Place.
Hey!
You know, which was like basically an entire Halloween movie.
Yeah.
You know, because like...
TV show.
Oh, TV show. Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's all those themes that we see in like these Disney Channel. Like they just pull them all together and like...
Right.
Disney Channel is really good at capitalizing on Halloween.
No, they are. And I've never been to the Halloween thing they had at Disneyland, but I heard that's pretty cool.
There's a Halloween, like they have horror nights?
Yeah, but it's like really kiddie. Like they use their Halloween characters or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I think they turned part of the park into Halloween Town, if I'm not mistaken. If they don't, they really should. If they don't do that, they really should.
They're sleeping on
They're sleeping on that. Now, I know Disney Plus is coming out. Do you foresee a Halloween Town continuation coming out on Disney Plus anytime soon, or?
I could see next year or this time them coming out with like a Halloween Town sequel.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah,
because the years between the other sequels were like pretty
spread
apart, and like not like 2 years or anything average. Like so, I think it's definitely like an IP that they're gonna probably try to like squeeze the money out of.
I mean, it's Disney. They're gonna squeeze money out of everything.
Yeah, are you gonna sign up for Disney Plus?
I don't know, man. I mean, everybody's telling me I got to. I listen, man. I don't want to be the anti-Disney guy. I don't. But we got to take a stand somewhere. You know what I mean? Is this $4.99 worth it? Seeing all my favorite Marvel movies at the tip of my fingers. But see, the thing is, I already own a lot of the Marvel movies I like on Blu-ray anyway. The main thing I was like, all right, Star Wars. Okay, that's good. Okay, I might think about that. Pixar, you're edging me. They got to come with something like really, really fire though. Like, gotta come with something really, really fire. And maybe when the Marvel shows come out, I think that's when I'm a tune in. But I don't know about from the jump, you know.
Yeah, I think I'll probably do the same.
The only thing I'm worried about is I want to see that Mandalorian show, Jon Favreau, our boy. But I don't want to see. I don't want. It's weekly. It's not even like bingeable. They're bringing it out like week by week.
Oh man!
And I'm like, damn, man, you're holding on to my membership. I can't even do the 30 days free or whatever. Like,
yeah, I mean that might be why they.
That's why they're doing it. I mean, that's how they get you.
Wow.
So whatever, man.
Any last thoughts on Halloween Town?
Any last thoughts on Halloween? I'm depressed, man. Disney Plus just makes me depressed. But yeah, Halloween Town. Listen, dope movie. What do you have any last thoughts or?
My only last thoughts are if you haven't seen Halloween Town, definitely strongly check it out. Strongly suggest that you check it out.
Yeah.
And you'll walk away probably loving it. I don't know.
Yeah, you probably will.
Let me know.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. And even though I'm still depressed a little bit about Disney Plus, I am going to finish my list off.
What's your number one?
With a Disney film myself. It's not a Disney Channel original. And it might not even arguably be a Halloween movie, but I'm going with Nightmare Before Christmas. That's my number one Halloween movie. That's a hot take, baby. That's what you come first take for the hot takes. I'm saying this Halloween movie. I'm planting that flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. So tell us, why do you like this?
Listen, man, Nightmare Before Christmas, and listen, people are also like, damn, man, this dude's really like fondling Tim Burton's balls, huh? Putting 2 movies of his on his list. Listen, man, this movie is so heartfelt. It's so genuine. I actually rewatched this movie after we did the Tim Burton episode, for our podcast. And again, every time I watch this movie, it's just so well written. It's like really, really well written. It's, again, it has the hopefulness and the kind of joy and the optimism of Halloween of Christmas. But it uses the Halloween aesthetic to make it like super weird and interesting. And honestly, I'm really surprised that they got away with some of the designs they got away with like back during that time, especially for a Disney film.
Like what kind of designs?
Just the way like all of this, like the way the ghosts are designed with like shit constantly like falling out of their mouths, like with the way the mayor looks, the way Jack
so it's like
Skellington,
super graphic is what you're saying?
It's just super, yeah. I mean, everything about, I think Nightmare Before Christmas quite literally inspired the entire Hot Topic aesthetic, honest to God. I think Hot Topic owes all of their wealth to what
That kind of ties into the Beetlejuice thing you're saying, the gothic.
Yeah. And that's why this is Tim Burton as well. I mean, Tim Burton didn't direct this movie; he produced it, but it came from his storyboards that he had when he was in college and all that stuff,
Wow.
and he ended up producing. Even after he got fired, from Disney for trying to develop this movie. So salute to Nightmare Before Christmas. Again, hot take time. It is a Halloween movie, people. And I think I might have even said on previous junctures that it's a Christmas movie, but no, I'm rocking with it, man. I'm rocking with it being a holiday. And people say it's both. It could be both, but we got carved.
Can I give you my opinion? Like, I've never even seen the movie, and
really?
just
Okay.
from looking at it, I know it's a Halloween movie.
No, it's a Halloween movie. Yeah, that's it. I know the main plot revolves around Santa. I get it, people. It's a Halloween movie.
Well, it also kind of, I mean, just from hearing you talk about it, like, it kind of seems like it plays with what we even think of as a holiday.
Yeah,
you know, it's like
yeah.
And it's also like the stretch between Halloween and Christmas is like definitely known like historically for like being like the deadest of the season before winter, and it's
Right.
And it's sort of like Halloween is like a precursor to like like the natural like death of like leaves and stuff, you know, before
for
Christmas.
autumn, like fall. It kind of matches that vibe. It does match that like cool down vibe.
Yeah.
Listen, I found a great quote from the director of this film, who said that, and let me pull it before I make sure. The director of this movie, Henry Selick, answered once and for all whether this movie is meant for Christmas or Halloween during the Q&A at Colorado's Telluride Horror Show Film Festival, and the answer is, it's a Halloween movie. Ladies and gentlemen, we found the answer. Nothing more that we need to discuss. Nightmare Before Christmas is a Halloween movie.
Wow.
We're living with it.
Now we're leaving today basically educating the whole world on what the truth is.
There it is, man. Hey, listen, thanks again, Cade, for coming on the Meaning of Podcast. So last second.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, everybody give him a round of applause. And obviously, post-production, whatever, is going to be added.
Everybody follow me on social media.
Plug your shit, man. Plug it.
At Cade Huseby.
And you can follow me, Twitter and Instagram, at Director RB3. Again, follow First Cut TMO on Twitter, Instagram. We are doing a lot of fun stuff. And make sure you follow our YouTube channel. Put the post notifications on. People always are hitting me like, yo, I don't be knowing when the podcast be dropping because you be uploading at different times every week. I get it. I know. I'm busy. So just put the post notifications on. We'll be up. And
follow on Insta, and you'll know exactly when they're up.
Follow on Insta. Look out, because on First Cut, we are dropping our throwback episode for James Cameron for our throwback Tuesday episodes. I know it's usually Throwback Thursday, but it's Throwback Tuesday, same initials. And we are going to be and that Thursday, we are going to be releasing our Terminator, the meaning of the Terminator franchise. Me and Ace are going to nerd out about Terminator. And we're going to have a Terminator Dark Faith spoiler review dropping that next Friday.
I'm excited for that.
So it's going to be good, man. It's going to be super fire.
And also, guys, make sure you follow the Instagram page for Robert and I's upcoming short film, Timestamp.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
At Timestamp Movie. Keep up with the release date. It's currently in post-production, and we're hoping to have it out before the end of the year.
It's going to be beautiful, man. Yeah. People are going to watch that movie. Excuse my language. I'm going to bleep that out. Gonna watch our short, and they're gonna be like, "Dang, man, they made that." That's what's up. Thanks for checking into the Meaning Up Podcast. I'm RB3.
I'm Cade Huseby,
and this is the Meaning.